Hey everyone, I wanted to get on and talk a little bit today about worthiness from the perspective of motherhood. I'm going to be honest, this one is coming directly from my heart today. I want to talk about the feeling of worthiness and motherhood. So before I get into some thoughts about that, I want to start with just a story. So when I was a little girl growing up in the 90s, all I wanted was someday to meet a prince of my own, specifically Eric from The Little Mermaid, and have little girls of my own. And I had this subconscious belief that was wired into me, thank you, Disney, that meeting these types of achievements, so being married to my prince, having children, would equate to me being happy, to me having a sense of belonging, and most importantly, to me being deserving of worthiness. So picking up off of my Instagram last week, much of my sense of worth was measured by external things. So as a teenager, it was, do I look like the popular girls at school? Do I participate in the same extracurricular activities? Do I listen to the same kind of music? And these external measurements carried over into every season of my life. But the most prominent season of my life that I've really noticed these external measurements to manifest is motherhood. So I have two little girls. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And they are very strong, independent, free little spirits. And they are an externalized piece of my heart. And because they feel so close to being a part of my heart and my body, they easily become an externalized measurement of my own worth as a person and a human being. So the ways in which I show up as a mom every day is externalized by them. And depending on their day and how they're doing, it's very easy for my brain to measure whether or not I am worthy that day based off of what my girls are doing. So stick with me here. Rather than giving myself permission to show up just as I am, I'm sorry, I have notes here and I can't see them. I struggle some days to feel like I'm not doing enough. And this is especially true in seasons where I'm feeling really tired and really exhausted. And that's the tricky part. When we are really tired and exhausted, our brain loves to return to the way that it was wired and set up to see things when we were children. And so because of a lot of my upbringing was wired in a way of worthiness being measured by externalized factors, when my children aren't meeting certain milestones, when I feel like I'm not being the right kind of parent, my brain, because it's exhausted and because it's tired, and even though I'm a therapist and I've done all sorts of work myself, even then, I start to measure my own worth by what's going on externally. Okay, hold on a second. Let me scroll up here. Okay, so when we are seeing the world this way, when we're really tired and exhausted, and we're back in this primal state, it's really hard for us to slow down and give ourselves permission to rest and to offer ourselves compassion. So our brain tells ourselves things like, well, if I slow down, I'm being a bad mom. If I slow down, then I'm being selfish. If I don't do these dishes or this laundry, or if I go get fast food for my child, I'm not doing the best by them. And that equates to me risking my own inherent worth. So I know a lot of this is resonating with a lot of you because I know a lot of my friends talk about this feeling, right? And so I don't have a quick fix for it. I don't have an answer for you today of how to keep yourself from ever feeling this way. But what I do want to leave you with is for you to remember that just because your brain thinks these things, and just because your wiring is to look at your worth, especially as a parent, being this external measurement, I want you to remind yourself that those are thoughts. It does not necessarily mean that it's the truth. And for you to work on this, the first thing you have got to do is slow down. Because you cannot be bringing attention and focus inward if you're constantly looking outward. And so slowing down is the first key. Stop looking out here and start looking in here. And bring compassion to the parts of you that feel like they are not safe. And the parts of you that think the only way to be safe is to do the right things. And bring compassion into those places and remind them that your worth is not a measurement. It is not about what you do right or wrong. It's inherent. I'm still getting that word wrong. It's inherent. Like, you are born with it. And you are also a person and a human being with your own needs. And it is okay for you to not always be exactly right in this externalized way that you think people want parents to show up as. And that the more that you can really start to be aware of how you're seeing things and bringing that compassion inward, the more that you're also beginning to model to your children and help them begin to have wiring in their brain that really sees worthiness as being something that is believed and just inherent, and not something that is having to be earned all of the time. Okay, if you liked this video, I'd love for you to drop some love in the chat below. You can share it with others. Tag in maybe a mom that struggles with worthiness. And I just hope each of you have a really great Mother's Day weekend. And I'm thinking about you all. And I will see you next Wednesday. All right, bye.